Where should I live in Sarasota, Florida?
There's a lot of great options throughout Sarasota, the city, and then also the county, and we're going to show you some of the best spots, some that you probably don't even know about, and we're getting started right now.
If you're looking to buy or sell a home in the Sarasota area, make sure to call, text, or email me. My information will be in the description box below. The first neighborhood that we love in Sarasota is called Lakewood Ranch, and this is a pretty cool neighborhood. It's technically on the outskirts of Sarasota, and it's basically a lot of different communities, gated communities, non-gated communities, all put together in one single place.
Yeah, and you can see on the map that, we'll pull it up right here, it sits kind of in between the Bradenton and Sarasota areas, and it's a little bit more inland. So there's a lot of pros and cons to that. The pros being it's a booming new area. It's lots of new construction. You're going to get a newer, nicer home. It is going to be a little more pricey, but there's also a lot of other new stuff in the area. They're getting their own new downtown. You've got a bunch of different downtown options right in that area. You're real close to Sarasota, the beaches, and then of course one of our favorites, the UTC Mall.
Yes.
Yeah, and the whole shopping area around that, not just the mall itself.
Lakewood Ranch is great for families, low crime. It's kind of like a small town feel, but again, this is just a lot of different neighborhoods all together in one single community. So it's not what you would expect as far as just one neighborhood, but it is great. A lot of different options for families, great schools. Lakewood Ranch High School, I heard it's a great high school.
Yeah, and also great for retirees as well. So a lot of these areas that we're going to be covering, I think are going to be great for both. There's also a lot of golf options within Lakewood Ranch. Also, of course, all Sarasota, Florida in general. You know, if you like golfing or pickleball, tennis, there's no shortage of options for that. And then, of course, you're real close to the world famous beaches of Siesta Key and some other ones we're going to cover later in the video. So the next one we'll show you on the map here is Palmer Ranch, which is down a little bit further, kind of in this area over here. So as you can see, kind of like Lakewood Ranch, it puts you a little bit more inland and a little bit more on the south end of Sarasota, which has some pros and cons. It depends on what you're looking to do. It puts you close to get to Siesta Key, as you can see, so a little bit faster drive there. But then on top of that, puts you closer to where we live, which we love, Venice, Florida. We'll talk more about that later. They also have a dead mall there.
Sarasota Square Mall.
Yeah,
yes.
It does have a theater though.
AMC Theater, which sometimes we go there. It's a great theater, but yes, the mall, it's pretty much non-existent at this point.
Yeah.
There are some stores that are still open.
It's got a Costco, and then the food court is completely shut down, but then randomly some new one went in there, yeah. So we were trying to figure that out because there's literally nothing else in the mall pretty much.
Yes. So Palmer Ranch, it's also on the outskirts of Sarasota, closer to the Osprey area. And this, just like Lakewood Ranch, is a lot of different neighborhoods. Some are gated communities, some are not gated communities. But this is a great neighborhood if you have a family, if you're a retiree alike, low crime rate. Puts you on a great spot, close to the beach, and all that Sarasota has to offer.
And we'll talk more about that in a little bit when we talk about some of the other Sarasota neighborhoods. Also, one other thing that's awesome about Palmer Ranch is as you go like closer to 75, a little more inland here, there's a lot of like new construction going on right now, newer communities that are being built, which is exciting. I got a feeling at some point they're going to have their own downtowns probably too, so that gives you yet another downtown option of all the other ones throughout the county. But then there's also sort of, as you veer towards more like that mall and stuff, some older homes and communities. So it gives you a little more options as far as pricing, you know, still getting in a good neighborhood, but maybe you can get something more affordable, or you can get something newer. And if you want to go more the HOA route, you got that there too.
So speaking of affordable, Gulf Gate Estates actually is another community in Sarasota that homes here are a little bit older, so they are a little, less expensive than going the new construction route. And this is also a great neighborhood for families, and it's a very popular neighborhood in Sarasota.
And just to put things in perspective, when we say older homes, that might mean something very different if you're coming from like the Midwest or the Northeast. When we say older for Florida, that's probably like the 80s and up, and that's kind of what you're going to get in Gulf Gate Estates. And again, this will put you real close drive to get to Siesta Key, pretty close to downtown Sarasota, closer to Venice, close to that mall that has a theater, but there's also some other shopping in that area, things like that. There's a Target in that area, it's Sarasota Square Mall area.
Yep, and you're not too far away from like the UTC Mall, but the UTC Mall is a little more upscale, but there is the other shops around that area there's They have like a TJ Maxx, Marshalls, other stores that are not as expensive as like the actual mall.
Yeah, and one thing to keep in mind is really anything that's, especially like considered within the city limits or the city of Sarasota, the metropolis area, if you want to call it that, of Sarasota, is gonna be pretty close to all this stuff to do. You're looking at maybe 15, 20, maybe 30-minute drive to get just about any of the, you know, the UTC, the beach, the old mall that doesn't have much going on. Also in that area, there's actually a new little strip mall that's got a Total Wine, a Sprouts, you know, a bunch of other new stuff in there too. So it's not like it's just the dead mall. There's a lot of other shopping there. So the next big area that we love, and this is for a very select sort of person, and I'll let you tell them why. It's downtown Sarasota. And why would that be for a very select type of person?
If you don't like living in a big city, Sarasota is not a big city by any means, but it is a bigger city, and there's a lot of things going on in the downtown. There's a lot of different restaurants, bars, so if you're looking for more of a relaxed feel, the downtown area, it's not for you. But if you're like on the younger side and you want to be able to walk to maybe Whole Foods, they have a Whole Foods in their downtown. If you want to be able to walk and get groceries, or just go to like a coffee shop or restaurants, or at night if you want to go out and just be able to walk, then downtown Sarasota is definitely for you.
Yeah, I think downtown Sarasota is very intriguing and exciting, but again, for a select sort of person. I would say compared to a lot of other big city downtowns, it does feel a lot more relaxed and walkable, and traffic isn't too crazy. Parking's pretty good actually, but also in the sense that you're probably going to be looking at living in a high-rise-ish condo. Mm-hmm. And so some people that isn't a very appealing idea. Some people's like, no, I just can't do that because I have kids maybe, or it's just not the lifestyle you want. And it's gonna be a little pricier to live in that downtown area, but also very exciting if that's the sort of lifestyle you want, you know, and you want something that's a little more low key than say living in like a Chicago or an LA or something really big and busy, or New York City. This is going to be more up your alley. Next one, and like the last one, this one's going to be a little pricier, but it is Siesta Key, and it's one of your favorite places on the entire planet, so I'll let you do all the talking here.
Siesta Key is my favorite beach. If you have the budget for it, it's a great place to live. There is a lot of different homes and also condos, beachfront condos, or just across from the beach, but it is a lot pricier. And the key itself, it's beautiful. There is this little downtown area that it's called Siesta Key Village, and it's a beautiful area. They sometimes have art festivals or farmers markets, and there's a lot of different restaurants, and it's always like so lively. And
of course, world famous Siesta Key Beach. That kind of fine powdered sugar sand. I'm sure if you watched any of our videos, you hear us talk about it all the time. Definitely something worth experiencing, and it's just a huge beach. Lots of parking, but even then, the parking lot does get full.
And it is free parking,
which is a big deal because most beaches in Florida, that's not the case, especially such popular beaches. And then the actual sand area is just huge. It's as packed as it can get. It's never like, wow, there's nowhere to sit. I mean, the sand goes, I don't know,
on for
hundreds of feet just to get to the water.
The next great place to live in Sarasota is Longboat Key. Longboat Key is north of Siesta Key, and it's a great area. It's very peaceful, I feel like, very relaxed.
Yeah, it's definitely got more of a kind of island feel, but also a very quiet island. There's not a lot of shopping, not a lot of restaurants, lots of golfing on the key. Very narrow key, great sand, great beaches, lots of condos. There are some gated communities and a few houses sprinkled in there. Again, it's going to be a little pricier because you are living on an island, so that's always going to bring up the prices. But if you want to be on like sort of have that quiet, relaxed beach lifestyle with lots of golfing, like that's as good as it's going to get.
I feel like, this is like great for retirees that are looking to just, relax, come here and relax and play golf and, go to the beach. Longboat Key definitely is a great area.
And also, as far as like, I mentioned there's not a lot of shopping right on the key, but you're not very far from the next thing that we're going to talk about, which has a nice downtown. It's another key. We'll tell you in a second. But also, you're really not too far to get to, say, if you go up to the north, you can go to Bradenton over here, the south end of Bradenton, and Anna Maria Island is up there. That's a nice area. And then also, if you head south, you can head back over towards like downtown Sarasota, and you're not too far from that. Next one, sort of south of that, With the other downtown we were talking about is Lido Key, and I'd say the biggest draw to this area, not a lot of housing opportunity really, but there are a few in there, and it's Lido Key's got St. Armand's Circle. That's the downtown we were talking about, which is kind of a upscale.
It is, yeah, but it's a very nice downtown area. It's basically a circle, and it's full of restaurants, shops, like upscale shopping. Not a lot of housing opportunities, but if you can afford it, you would be very, very close to the downtown area.
Yeah, not a lot of houses and pricier, but if you can happen to find one, awesome. And then also, again, it puts you real close to like downtown Sarasota, closer than Lido Key. It would make it easier for you to get to that end of town.
The next area we like in Sarasota, and this is actually Sarasota County, is Venice, and this is the city where we live. We love it.
A little biased maybe,
Yeah.
but also we handpicked this out of like a lot of different areas we considered.
Yes. Venice is a great area for retirees and families alike. We've had a lot of families, like younger families, move to the area within the last 2 years. And the draw is because we have great schools and a low crime rate.
Yeah, very small town feel, even though it is kind of growing and expanding, very friendly people. And then also our beach experience, which we referenced earlier in the video, some of the other beaches, is very different from all the ones in Sarasota. There's a lot more crushed up seashells and actual full seashells on the beaches and in the sand. But then the thing that makes us kind of famous is we are considered to be the shark tooth capital of the world, and those are prehistoric fossilized shark teeth, not fresh shark teeth that are out there swimming in the water.
Another thing we love and that we are famous for is the historic downtown. And we love just going and taking our dog for a walk or just going and walking Venice Avenue ourselves. We've actually found some of our viewers walking around Venice.
Yeah, and they're like, hey, I watch your videos.
Yeah.
Hey, nice to meet you.
So if you see us walking around, please say hi. We love it when we find you guys out exploring our area.
Yeah, and one thing that we'll often do, we'll go to the downtown, and it's like a ritual for us at this point. When we go to the downtown, we'll keep driving all the way down Venice Avenue. That'll take you down to Venice Beach, which is decent for shark's teeth. Casperson is better. But then if you take a right from there and then another left as you get to the three-way stop sign, that'll take you out to another thing we're pretty popular for, which is the South Jetty. And then while we're talking this neighborhood, we're going to mention it, almost forgot to. Nokomis is kind of, we always consider to be almost like part of Venice and almost kind of part of that Palmer Ranch, South Sarasota area, but it definitely feels more like part of Venice. They also have a jetty, which is the North Jetty. So this whole area, I'd say in general, is a pretty nice area. If you go to Nokomis, there are some more affordable housing options. Also a few rougher pockets though, so that's something to consider. But just about all of Venice, I would say, is
very safe and nice. The next neighborhood that's great in the Venice area is Wellen Park. This is a planned community that is actually in between Northport, Venice, and a little bit of Englewood. But a lot of the homes there have a Venice address. This is a great area for families. We actually know a lot of younger families that live in the Wellen Park area. Their kids go to school in Venice.
It's kind of like the new Lakewood Ranch in a lot of ways, and kind of, like Palmer Ranch, some of that, it's got that kind of planned thing, but I would say it's more comparable to Lakewood Ranch,
yeah.
Just because it's got a bunch of different gated communities that are all kind of forming this one new city that's kind of, like she said, in between all the other cities. There's some decent golfing options within the area, great for schools.
A lot of the communities in Wellen Park are gated communities.
Also, it's going to be a little bit pricier than, let's say, like maybe parts of Venice or parts of like Nokomis. It just depends on where you're talking. But I would say if you want to compare it to Lakewood Ranch, probably a little bit more affordable.
Yes.
And a lot of new construction options there too. I feel like Lakewood Ranch is getting to the point where it's pretty built out.
Yeah.
But Wellen Park, a lot of it's kind of happening. We're kind of like halfway into it being built at this time.
Yes, and Wellen Park will have its own downtown
That's
by the
awesome.
end of the year.
We're
yes,
so excited.
We
for
are
that.
very, very excited. Wellen Park also has the Atlanta Braves spring training facility, which I feel like this whole area kind of became a planned community because of the Atlanta Braves facility. It seems like everything's being built around it.
Sort of a hub of the area almost.
Yeah. So, and they do have a little tiki bar where you can go and grab a few drinks or more like snacks to eat. Or do they have like?
They do have some food and stuff. We never really got food from there yet, but yeah, sometimes it's fun to just go there, hang out, get a drink. And sometimes they'll have live musicians playing there. Obviously, there's Braves games sometimes and things like that.
So, and they'll play movies for kids. So this whole area, it's great it's very family friendly.
Next one that we love is Northport, Florida. Northport is the one that started Wellen Park, and now a lot of people like talk about it like Venice, and now people from Northport get upset about that. So it's kind of this weird thing, but Wellen Park kind of sits in between Northport, Venice, and Inglewood. Northport is a little bit more inland, as you can see, puts you a little bit further away from the beaches and things like that, but still you're looking at maybe a 30 to 45 minute drive. Lots of great affordable housing options, new construction. There are a few HOA communities in there, but for the most part, pretty non-HOA. You can buy a lot or maybe buy a spec home that was built, and you're gonna get a lot more for your money there than any of these other areas we covered. So for that alone, I feel like you gotta put it in the best neighborhoods because it just gives an option for more people that maybe can't afford the other areas or want more for their money.
And you're not very far. You're about 30-40 minute drive to Sarasota and Venice area, so it's not that far. If having a nice home and space it's important for you, then Northport is a great option. And also homes are newer and you do get a bigger backyard, and you're not so much on top of each other, well, unless you're on that planned community, obviously. If you're planning to build a home in a vacant lot, it will give you that like country-ish feeling, and not being on top of each other, and you have more space.
And one other thing I think that's kind of cool about that area is you have the option like of buying a house or buying a lot to build a house on. And then a lot of times there's the possibility to buy a lot next to it or maybe on both sides of it. And you can maybe have like this big open grassy area. So that would be amazing if that's something you're interested in too. And you're not going to really find that in too many of these other areas.
No, like everywhere else is pretty much all built out, while Northport, there's a lot of new construction going on, but there is the space for it.
Yeah, there's a lot of, for as much construction as there is, there's still a lot of lots that are vacant. And actually, I think it's like the biggest landmass metropolis or area or city or something like that in all of Florida, and it's because of that. There's just so much land. It's very spread out. Traffic doesn't get too crazy because of that either, because there's not all the people stacked up in condos. So if you want more of that relaxed lifestyle, it's great for that. And again, great schools.
Yeah, so Northport is also in Sarasota County, and Sarasota County is known for having great schools, low crime as well. So it is great for family.
So if you're looking to buy or sell a home in any of these areas we covered,
make sure to call, text, or email me. I am a local realtor, and my information will be in the description box below.
If you found the video helpful, hit that like button. It helps us out a ton. Be sure to subscribe and turn on all notifications. Leave a comment with any other questions you have, and we'll get to it in a future video. And live breezy.